Dear Mamas, I'm starting this post with a trigger warning out of respect for those of you who may need it. Know that I have been there. I still am there. Trust your intuition as to whether this post is for you or not. No shame, only infinite love, should you decide not to read any further. I moved into the city of Chicago about a year ago, within a month of running my first 10-mile race. Training in the city was an equally empowering and terrifying experience. On the one hand, I was running longer distances than I have ever ran before. My body felt strong and capable. My mind had a safe place to think the many thoughts that run through a highly sensitive person's head each day. And my spirit felt energized and renewed as I found pockets of nature where I could fill up my soul with source. On the other hand, as a sexual assault survivor, running alone in an unfamiliar place, now infamous for its widespread violence, was almost enough to put an abrupt end to the weeks of training that I had already put in. There were many moments when my overly active amygdala triggered a fight or flight response in my body. During that time, I relied heavily on 2 mantras that enabled me to keep training through the anxiety I felt so distinctly in the core of my body. In the moments when I wanted to turn around and go back to my familiar and safe home, I told myself that I'd rather truly live a short life experiencing each moment to its fullest than a long life that was restricted by fear. And in the moments when I flinched so hard that I literally jumped as I was catcalled or honked at, I reminded myself that most people are assaulted by someone they know personally, as was true in my case, not a stranger. And with those 2 mantras, I found routes that both filled up my soul and felt safe in my body. And over the course of the next year, while I still remained aware and alert as I ran, running became more and more empowering and less terrifying. Fast forward a year later, and I'm waking up at 5:45 many mornings to run before work. I am grounded and connected with the divine in ways I never would have expected just a year ago. I'm stepping into a space that enables me to live out my life purpose. And I'm healing wounds that I was unaware my body still held on to in a safe and sacred space with my counselor. I'm feeling captivated. I'm feeling lit up. I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling strong. I'm honoring my body more than I ever have. After my body signaled to me loud and clear 2 weeks ago in the form of a pain so intense I began to black out that I needed to slow down, I canceled my mini weekend trip and stayed home to rest and rejuvenate. Saturday evening, I woke up from an unexpected and very welcome nap and decided to order my version of fast food, an organic homemade veggie burger from a local farm-to-table restaurant a few blocks from my apartment. I'm just a short block from the restaurant as I approach a car of 4 men pulled over speaking to another man on the sidewalk. My stomach drops and I feel the all too familiar feelings of fear and anxiety as my intuition suggests that I might want to cross the street. Instead of listening to my body, I trust the mantra in my head I had used so many times before and kept walking. That was the first time in my many years of carrying pepper spray on my keychain that I'd ever felt the need to reach for it. I've never felt fear so intensely in my life as I did in that moment. I was so scared. And in that moment, I genuinely feared that I would be dragged into an alley and gang raped by 5 men who are much bigger and stronger than I was. I credit divine intervention as to the reason he stopped following me and as to the reason the blue flashing lights appeared minutes after I walked away unharmed. I had gone from reflecting on how empowered I felt while running that morning to sobbing with fear that evening. I was just a few short months away from being anxiety attack free for an entire year when my body was triggered in a big way back to a state of trauma. For almost a week, I felt like I was going to throw up every time I left my apartment. I couldn't bring myself to run in the mornings. I avoided as much as possible going anywhere alone. I drove to places I would typically walk or bike to, and at times cried upon return. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I wasn't grounded in my body, and I knew it. I immediately started the process of returning to and remaining within my body by sharing my story. When those I was surrounded with asked me what was wrong, I, for the most part, resisted the urge to say nothing and shared as openly as felt right in the moment. I was gentle with myself and honored my triggered body, meaning I allowed myself to retreat in my home. I unapologetically canceled plans and commitments as felt right to my body at that time, and I gave myself the gift of patience. The first step for healing my triggered body was to ground my soul as much as possible within my body, which is truly a challenge when your body doesn't feel safe. The next step is to let source in. This step is the hardest for me. The step I so often skipped in the past. I meditated. I tried searching for divine wisdom on my own through reading and writing. I knew I needed divine guidance, but I had no idea how to connect and receive it. So I reached out to someone whose energy, light, and vibrations feel loving, safe, and pure to me always. Someone who I trusted had a grounded connection and the ability to receive the message that would point me in the right direction. Through the use of oracle cards, I was guided to create an altar, clear a smudge, cleanse with a salt bath, and connect with the goddess Nematona. And with those actions, I was able to truly surrender. I was able to let source in. The next morning, I went for a run feeling beloved, grounded, and empowered. Mamas, some of you may be listening to the story and felt disengaged at the end when I started speaking of connection through energy, oracle cards, burning smudge, and altars. Know that that is okay. Had I heard someone share this story just a few short months ago, I would have had the same reaction. How I found my connection with the divine is not the point of this story. I wrote the story for myself. Writing is how I process, heal, and find the message. I'm sharing this story because I want you to hear the message, the lesson, the truth that I was gifted. I share because I don't want you to dismiss your fear, dismiss your anxiety, dismiss your body the way I had been. Through this experience, I learned to listen to all the feelings in my body. As someone who experiences fear and anxiety regularly, my mind was quick to dismiss the message of intuition my body was sharing. Don't dismiss the messages, the gut feelings, the chatter of your body. Let your fear guide you, your anxiety teach you, the chatter of your body show you where you need healing. Your mind will protest, rationalize, and try to take control. Don't let it. Live in your body. Trust your body. Honor your body. Be well, mamas.